triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Battle for freedom. Hello, everyone. This is Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo5 Radio. I'm your host of Battle for Freedom. My website, battle4freedom.com. I want you to go there and share this out to as many people as you possibly can. Earlier, I normally am on Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I'm coming to you live because there was things I wanted to share. And even now, as you look at what's coming along the title, it's not exactly what it should be. It just should be, understand this. It is basically me telling you about the goal, the concept that he is returning, and this is the light in the darkness. This is exactly what's going on here as we look at this and we watch everything unfolding. Again, my website is battle4freedom.com. It's you just finished listening to right now with Jim Dawes. If you after this, you'll be listening to Patriotically Correct Radio with Stu Peters as well as Richard Leonard, and you hear the content that's going on there. So again, do not pay attention to the title that's in there. Just look at what's beneath me and as I'm talking to you right now. I was really angry, and you have to understand that there was a lot of things that were just really working on my nerves today as I was trying to make it through. I had a different topic. I had a different thing I wanted to talk about today, but then I found myself looking at some things that were being shared by people that really stood on my nerves, and it really got to the bottom of really making me mad because of the fact that people keep thinking that they can do things, they could be evil, they can basically castigate people for what they're doing, and not believe that there's going to be any accountability that's going to come down on them for the words that they say, for the actions that they do, and believe that they're going to escape this, that they're going to escape any challenges, and there's going to be no condemnation for what they're doing. It's wrong. This is, I'm telling you about the idea of he is returning, the light in the darkness. Right now, everything feels so overwhelming. It seems like evil's getting away. We've been watching cities burn. We've been watching looting. We've been watching murders and robbery and everything like that. But understand this, things are going to be moving in the positive direction, and I want to talk to you about this. But before I get into that, I understand that we all have to be in the right mindset. So when we're doing this, one of our sponsors, New Life Holistic, hear what they have to say. And this is key that you listen to it. Does your mind seem like it often shuts down before it even starts? Sounds like you need to detox to improve your health in body, mind, and spirit. I'd like to tell you about New Life Holistic. It is an amazing therapy process that uses neurofeedback and biofeedback for many issues that ails everyone. New Life's method and approach to health, balance, energy, and vitality is what sets it apart from anything you have experienced ever before. Call 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE and tell them Watson from Battle for Freedom had sent you. One more thing. Give them the code MOJO50 and save $50 off of your first session. The consult is free. New Life Holistic. New Life Holistic. This is where you want to go. Not only that, I also want you to understand that this is just one of our many hosts that's out there. There's also, I want you to listen to Patriot Energy. As our country is unstable, as things are getting crazy, and you need to make certain that in the event that things go down, that your power is working for you, and in the event of a blackout, brownout, whatever it is, you are ready to go on this, and it's not going to be it's not going to be a problem for you. Patriot Energy. Take a listen to this. Are your energy bills getting out of hand and you want more control of your expenses? Consider Patriot Energy, a local veteran-owned solar company. You need honesty, integrity, and clarity. These markers are essential in the ever-growing solar industry. Call 602-721-6717 for a free quote. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, and he's from Mojo5 Radio. And that number again, 602-721-6717. Call Patriot Energy today. Call Patriot Energy today and tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom told you to take a look at this and to share it with as many people as you possibly can. Again, I want to talk to you about this whole idea that, sorry about that. I want to talk to you about this whole idea that in the midst of everything going on, things are going to be changing. And it's weird because of the way that the world is attacking us and saying so many different things. I don't know where you are in the midst of your emotions. Yes, the debate was insane, but what makes me mad in the midst of all this is there's this hubris, there's this arrogant attitude and spirit that has been rising up in the country. It's already been in this country. It's already been there. And I'm sitting here looking at this stuff, and it kind of ticks me off. Let's go to the first situation that's out here that I want to talk to you about, because of the fact that it's really sad when you look at the way that these people have been condescending, how these people have been shooting down this area of the president of the United States, and he's unstable, and we can't trust him, and now they want to talk about this whole idea of the United States of America as being, that the Trump may be muted on the next the next debate. Is a possibility that he could be muted because of the fact that they didn't like that he was being, he was interrupting and everything like that. So here it is. There's a mention that says now that the United States, that they're saying that Donald Trump's microphone could be turned off in the next debate if he keeps interrupting, or he might get a time penalty under the debate commission plan. And they basically says that there was a dumpster fire clash that was going on. They said that last night's debate made it clear that additional structure should be added to ensure a more orderly discussion of the issues. Now I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, so when are you going to do the same thing for Joe Biden? Are you going to mute him? I doubt it. Because if there's a point where Joe Biden keeps interrupting, is there going to be a rebuke against Joe Biden? And next week, when you have the debate between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence, are you going to sit there and you're going to mute her too? Are you going to turn around and shut her down when she maybe tries to talk over Mike Pence? Or she tries to call him out of his name? Because understand something, when you see visceral hatred, it's going to basically be coming from the left. But everybody sits here saying that Donald Trump has to be muted, but no one wants to talk about muting the violence, muting the corruption, muting the stuff that's been tearing this country apart. And it really makes me sick because of the fact that in the hubris, in the arrogance, in this idea of pointing your finger at Donald Trump, basically making it seem like he is the greatest threat to this nation, God is trying to let you know and awaken you right now that the greatest threat to you, the greatest threat to this nation, and more important, the greatest threat to you is the person you see in the mirror. I am so angry because of the fact that I think that there's this level of haughtiness from Christians who sit there and they're not conservatives. They're liberals, they're progressives, and they stick their noses up at the rest of us. How dare you? How could you sit there and support Donald Trump and all his vile? And I love this because of the fact that there was this meme that I had seen, and I like this whole idea is that, it says, a lot of people says, as a Christian, I just can't vote Donald Trump because of his past. And it's like, well, you know what? Praise God that you're not held to that same standard. That God did not have that standard against you when he decided to choose you to basically be in his kingdom. To awaken your heart that you would receive the message of hope through Jesus Christ. Thank God he didn't have that message and attitude towards you. To decide that he was going to keep you down and keep you from having an opportunity to receive Christ, to open your eyes and recognize your fallenness and your brokenness and your need for God. But this attitude, this mentality, this level of arrogance that's so disgusting as we sit here watching this stuff unfold. But I need to calm down here and get to the next point here. The world, yeah, here's another one too. And this goes down under hashtag who cares. So the world decides that they basically want to say that the world's press paints America as a global laughingstock and slams a shameful presidential debate as a national humiliation. Media outlets across the globe shame the United States following Tuesday night's turbulent presidential debate. President Donald Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden interrupt each other and threw insults throughout this shocking 90-minute debate. The British outlet The Guardian branded the event as a national humiliation. German news magazine Der Spiegel eviscerated the debate as a joke and a low point, a shame for the country. The Times of India wrote the U.S. embarrassed itself before the world for nearly 100 minutes in a debate akin to mud wrestling. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, as you sit, guys, and think about this, though. You only show a picture of Donald Trump on this image? You make it seem like Donald Trump was the only person that he's the only picture. He's only the person that you show. All these countries. Oh, and here's the reason why I say a big fat who cares. And this is the reason why. Is because most of these nations that are sitting there, they have so many different problems. England? How many terrorist attacks that keep killing your citizens because you don't want to close your borders? How many people are dying from your broken supposed universal healthcare system that you're sending to people have to wait 3 months to 3 years to get into hospital just to get something that we can get done next week? Your economy is crumbling. You're leaving. You're finally leaving the UK or the EU, which is the best decision that you've made in the last 50 years. But for somehow, some way, you're going to start ridiculing the United States, the Guardian. The Guardian, really? The Guardian of truth or the Guardian of smut? So there's this whole idea in India. Your country is being devastated by the coronavirus right now, and you have nerve to talk about us? And let's get into the Indian culture. The caste system? They look for under every rock for racism in this country, and we could find it clear in India. Well, I'm sure there's some racism in Indiana as well too, but it ain't just from white people; it's from blacks as well. But this whole mentality that you're going to sit here and you're going to make a mockery, you're going to sit here and have the nerve to talk about what's going on with the United States. You have the caste system. If you're if you're in the 4th level caste system, you're garbage. No one cares about you. They'll ridicule you. They'll insult you. They don't care. So you have some nerve. Germany. Oh my goodness. Your landscape was being raped by the immigration. I mean, the immigration invasion has been taking place in your country. You had your German citizens being raped right on the countryside. People raped right in front of their own spouses, and nothing could be done. And the German people did nothing about it. We hear nothing else about it because you've squashed any news, any person who talks about the reality of the scum that's going on in your country. They remain completely quiet. Don't talk, France. And don't talk any other state. Don't talk any other country where you're allowing migrants to poop on your streets and defecate on your streets. You have no business sitting here talking about what's going on. State-run Chinese newspaper of the Global Times slammed the event as the most chaotic presidential debate ever. Human rights violations going on in China right now. You're killing people. You're depositing. You're pushing out, whether it's through a threat and intimidation, or it's even through the viruses that you've been pushed out into your own community. So this whole idea that the world community, that we have to be somehow impressive on a stage, but most of them are sitting there play acting. So don't sit here and try and come at us with this we're better than you mentality. You guys are full of it. You're full of it. I mean, and that's the part about that really gets me when I sit here and look at the nerve that these people have to say. Who do you think you are? You're nobody. We don't care about you. It's annoying as I sit here watching it, and I'm telling people that, you have to wake up and you have to get tired. You have to be upset. You have to be bothered by the level of just malevolence that's carried against this country. And this country does more than it can to bless so many countries around the world. You turn around, you're cursing the hands that's blessing you. How dare you? Hypocritical at best. We're watching this thing unfold right in front of our eyes where stop trying to worry about the weather. And this is the great thing I'm happy about the President of the United States of America. He doesn't care what the other nations do. He wasn't hired to impress other nations. He wasn't hired to basically make everybody happy with the decisions that he makes. He had a job, he did his job, and he's doing what needs to be done. He's been turning around the economy, even in the event of a stinking virus that had plagued the country. Let's say you guys top that. Oh, wait, you're going to be calling for help from the United States of America to help you recover. When the Indonesia and all these other different countries are struggling and you have these natural disasters, who's the first country basically wanting to hand money to you? United States of America. Laughing stock and everything like that. The rest of you are laughing stocks. But I say this, and the reason why I'm indignant about this is I come to you live and in talking about this is because of the fact that we are watching a level of arrogance and people thinking like, yeah, we're so much better than them. Let's just sit here and eat our tea and crumpets and just assume that we're better than those people over there, those savages. And you're the savages. You're the ones who are constantly being bailed out by us. Savage is my foot. Savage is my... Oh. I'm tired. I'm tired. And then the rest of you, if you are not tired of the apology tour that we had from the previous administration, and as Dan Bongino says, the most corrupt president in the history of this nation. Hashtag Obamagate. If you want to be ashamed about something, you look at that. You have you people sitting here talking about President Trump being corrupt. You sitting here straining the elephant for the gnat. You're sitting here, you're straining and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, are you kidding me? You're turning around, talking negative about this country and negative about this president. And I'm like, look at the junk in your own home. See, and this is the thing about it. When I say that the light and the darkness is coming in, that Jesus is going to be exposing all of us. He's going to be exposing any of you who have this. You have this holier than thou, haughtier than anything else mentality. Get ready to be humbled. Get ready because God's going to expose all your garbage when you sit here continuing thinking that you're going to get this stuff done the right way. Good news. It turns out that you know what? Yeah, I don't care about this. Who cares about international poll image? Don't care about that one. But before I even get into the idea of this guy being arrested, let me stop on the debate for a few seconons here, because I'm going to get on the news about the guy who was arrested. So good news, guy was arrested who shot those police officers. I want to go back to a couple of things that Donald Trump had basically said to Joe Biden. 47 months and 47 years. I did more in 47 months than you've done in 47 years. Okay? Now you sit here and you watch this thing and everybody's getting angry and talking about the worst economy in the nation. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, the condition of this country has been because of the failure of you politicians who've been in office forever. The idea that now you have Democrats wanting to have the once lifetime appointment of Supreme Court judges now limited to 18 years, while you have Nancy Pelosi in there 35 years, 45 years, 50 years in Congress. You don't even want to limit your own term, but you sit around and you have the nerve, you have the gall, you have the unmitigated gall to sit there and say that other people should be limited, but you shouldn't be. You already proved, you and Dianne Feinstein in California, where masks are mandatory, where businesses are closed, you sit there and you show up and you decide that you're going to do this. The level of hypocrisy that's going on right now, and all of you who are sitting there, you're pointing your finger and you're condemning Donald Trump. And I'm sitting here thinking, and many of you call yourselves Christians. You remember Nancy Pelosi? I'm a Catholic. I don't hate anybody. Really? Because when you were busted about being in that salon with no mask, it was supposed to be closed, you sat there and you threw her under the bus to try and say that you were set up. Do I need to play this I was set up video from Donald Trump again? But this whole idea, this insanity, this hypocrisy that's been taking place, and people keep thinking that they're not going to get exposed. They keep thinking that they're not going to be blown away. Understand this, he is returning. The light and the darkness is about to expose all this stuff, because Nancy Pelosi was exposed, Dianne Feinstein was exposed, and so many more people. And even now, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden have been exposed. You have the video of Joe Biden basically saying to threaten to get rid of a prosecutor who was investigating his son. Quid pro quo. He said what he did, and he said that it got accomplished. But they were like, oh, no. He was, and seriously, people are literally doing mental verbal gymnastics to ignore the clear quid pro quo from Joe Biden threatening to not give money to Ukraine until they fired a person of interest. And that person of interest was investigating his son as to why are you getting all this money from these companies? To sit here and turn around, you have your Russian collusion, you have your Ukrainian information, you have your quid pro quo, but it isn't good enough for you. And then you sit here and you look at the reality of how you show that Hunter Biden got $3.5 million. They fact checked it, PolitiFact checked it. You have Facebook fact checkers are checking it, saying that the information doesn't exist. But when you read the Senate report, what does it show? 4 times that Hunter Biden was paid. Oh, there's no correlation between Hunter Biden and this organization. Are you kidding me? Come on now. My anger, my frustration from this more than anything else is because of the fact that a lot of you sat there and you hung on the teat of Russian collusion. You hung on the teat of quid pro quo from Ukraine. You would not let it go. You believed in your heart of hearts that Donald Trump was guilty because you need Donald Trump to be guilty. Because as long as Donald Trump is guilty, as long as everyone can point all the arrows in all the direction at him, no one has to pay attention to the sin that's hiding in your own heart. No one has to pay attention to the sin that's hiding in your own heart. Understand this. A lot of people in this country have been affected by what has been called critical race theory. What's his name mentioned it? Wallace mentioned it. In the fact that he mentioned critical race theory and I'm going to talk about this tomorrow. So if you want to hear me talk about, if you want to hear a little bit more about critical race theory, and I'm going to break that nonsense down, and I'm going to rebuke that nonsense, because that is what's going on in our schools, in our churches, and it's going on in so many homes. And that's the reason why there's so many angry black people, because they've been adopting the lies of critical race theory rather than listening to the truth of God's word. And I'll get into that tomorrow. But this whole idea, because Donald Trump's got to be, he's got to be racist. I'm going to save all that stuff for tomorrow. Obamagate. There is clear evidence that former President Barack Obama authorized the FBI to investigate not just a sitting president, not just a duly elected president, but a presidential candidate. What Nixon was clearly convicted, everybody, Nixon. He is the corruption and not only the corruption, but the impeachment of Richard Nixon. It is truly the mental orgasm of so many people filled with hate and indignation against them, and is based on nothing but foolishness, lies, and misconceptions. And so the moment that you turn around, no, Obama, we need to focus on Trump and what's going on. No, we have proof here. The FBI, the proof here that Hillary Clinton made up the scam of the Russians hacking her servers because of the fact that to take away from the scandal of the email servers. And Comey basically let her go. But many of you right now, you don't want to deal with it. You don't want to deal with it. You don't want to acknowledge that, because right now, Orange Man Bad is the only truth that you will sit there and you will turn around and agree on this stuff. Those of you who want to interact right now, you can go to facebook.com/Mojo50 Radio, and then you can you just log in and leave comments. Hi, Sarah Nichols. I see Dawn Stanton and even Jeff Womack. Thank you for being part of this program as I sit and I talk to you about this. I had to let it out. It didn't go out the way I wanted to earlier this morning, and I'm letting the steam off right now. Because of the fact that this is... Because right now, there is this misconception that a lot of people believe that they can carry on in any way that they want to and have this haughty mentality that they're better than the president, they're better than conservatives, they're better than Christians, they're better than, and they have this moral decay that's rotting their soul, but they believe that they are so much better than everybody else. I don't think I'm better than anyone else. I don't think I'm better than anybody. There's only one person who's good. There's only one person who's great. There's only one person who is perfect. That's God. Every day I'm asking the Lord to change me and let me be less than who I was before. Hey, Linda, thank you for being part of this as well. But as I sit here watching this stuff unfold, I'm watching this level of hypocrisy that's taking place and this evil wickedness that's overcoming our country. And it has to come to an end. Let me get to this before. Do I want to talk about anything else on that? Yeah. So the hypocrisy that they hung on Donald Trump saying stand by when he finally came out and said stand down. How many times does the president have to denounce white supremacy? He has done it on multiple occasions. But again, everyone says he hasn't done it. He hasn't done it. You're not trying to listen. You don't want to hear. It's there. The tapes are there for you to listen. Okay? But it's interesting that Joe Biden, he didn't denounce Black Lives Matter. He didn't denounce Antifa. He called Antifa an idea. And interesting, too, that he wasn't given the opportunity to denounce Black Lives Matter. I'm saying this, folks. He's returning. Jesus is returning. And y'all better get your stuff straight. because you are misleading yourself into believing that there's nothing wrong with what you're doing and God's about to shut you down. I'm your host, Battle4Freedom from Battle for Freedom. I'll be back in a second. This election will be vital to the health and sustainability of our country. Our role from this day on could steer the election in either direction. Why? The way we treat one another. In John 13:35, Jesus says, "By this all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." We know that every election cycle brings out the worst in us. If there was ever a point for honesty, it is in how we act during election season. As much as we would want our candidate to win, attacking a person with contrary opinions only makes them determined to reject our point of view all the more. It may come off as ignorant from them, but we cannot claim innocence if we allow arrogance and disrespect to be the means in which we communicate with those who support the other party or other candidates. Our goal was and will never be to convert voters. Our role is to give them the information needed prior to them casting their vote. It is their choice and right of what they do with that information. Understand, more people are aware of the political corruption and hypocrisy than they wish or want to admit. So there's nothing for us to prove. Choose to be people who invoke change rather than people who irritate and strain. Dale Carnegie once wrote, "A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still." In other words, give people the room to make their own mistakes. Without seeing that they were wrong, they would be blind to see what is right. Remember, every soldier present and gone have fought for the right of every American citizen to vote their own conscience. To insult and ridicule people for exercising their liberty to vote for their candidate is to also desecrate the efforts, memories, and sacrifices made by our heroes for said liberty. Please, show respect. Our nation depends on it. Welcome back, everyone. This is Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio, coming to you in the afternoon because of the fact that there is so much I wanted to get off of my chest and I needed to say it again. It didn't come out as clear as I wanted to in the broadcast earlier in the morning, but you're going to hear it today and you're going to hear it now. And immediately after, you're going to be able to chance to listen to Patriotically Correct with Stu Peters and Richard Leonard. Excellent content. Got to listen to them. They bring it true. They bring it hard, and listen to what they have to say because it's going to make a difference in what you have to say and getting your life focused and getting ready for the reality. Jesus is returning, and you better understand he is a light in the darkness. He's going to be exposing stuff that you could not imagine. And you know what? And those of you who think about it because I'm talking at 100 miles a minute, it's not because of the fact that I am drinking. I am not, I just not have 15 bottles or 15 cups of Watson's white chocolate caramel. But let's talk about American Pride Roasters. That's it. I've hit the snooze button a dozen times, and now I have to finally get going. But I'm not going to do this day right if I don't start it off with a cup of American Pride Roasters coffee, the official coffee of Mojo 50 Radio. But I'm not going to lie to you. They have a wide variety of blends, but I'm leaning towards the one that's named after me, Watson's White Chocolate Caramel. You know what? It sounds as good as those words that just rolled off of my mouth. Listen, get it today. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, and you want Watson's White Chocolate Caramel blend to start your day off. Join American Pride Roasters Coffee and Mojo 50 Radio, and most important, Battle for Freedom, as we celebrate the best coffee in the nation. American Pride Roasters. Yes, American Pride Roasters. And not only them, I also want you to consider this, because as the war, as the craziness and everything's coming on its way, I want you to understand that you need to get yourself a cat cooler for the worst case scenario when everything goes out. Cat coolers, check this out. When the world is going to hell in a handbasket, you need rugged. You need strong. You need durable. You need cat coolers. These are the best coolers on the market in 27, 55, and 88 quart. Go to catcoolers.com and give them the code Watson to save 10% on your purchase. Don't settle for those substandard containers that melt, leak, and destroy your memorable moments. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you. Cat Coolers. Yes, cat coolers. Check this out. Send it to as many people as you possibly can. And let's get back to just the whole idea of the light and the darkness. Again, for those of you, thank you for being part of this. And I really appreciate the comments that you're going to share as you share this out with as many people as you possibly can. So here's my thing about this whole idea of Jesus being the light and the darkness. Those of us keep thinking that we're going to be able to get away with this nonsense, and there isn't going to be any exposure to what we're doing, and we think that we're going to get away with evil. Understand this. Good news: the bum, the loser who decided that he wanted to shoot these two cops who were just sitting there minding their own business. His name is Deontay Lee Murray, 36 years of age, was charged with 2 counts of each of attempted murder of a peace officer and possession of a firearm by a felon. Murray he shot 2 deputies in Compton and on September 2nd. 12. So it's used 12. So making me so angry, I'm starting to... Either way, here's a problem that I get into, and I get really mad about this, is because of the fact that there's all this indignation. Did the city burn because of the cities burn because of what he did on shooting the cops? Did police decide that they were going to start running through black communities and burning stuff down, shooting down every black person that they could find until they found this monster? Did we turn around and start watching major businesses and major homes burn to the ground because of the fact that because a peace officer, they almost lost their lives? This is a straight attack. And those of you who keep thinking that you can go after the police, you have no clue the level of damage that could be weighted against any community if the police decided they wanted to go on a full frontal attack and decide to wipe out as many people as you possibly can. If many of you, if you remember Independence Day, towards the end, before the crop duster flies into the machine and takes out the weapon and destroys, and then they save the earth and everything like that. You remember he had to try and make his way there, and there were so many alien ships between him and his target. And the president of the United States said to them, because everybody was out of missiles, and they had to protect the guy with the missile, and they said, "Okay, everybody, pave the way." And so they just started opening up. They just started opening up everything that they had to just mow everything down to make a path so that he could turn around and he could start saving the country and saving the world. And here it is. That is exactly how it could happen if the police force decided they were going to go off and do this. And I'm hoping that this isn't going to, because right now you already have Mark Cuban saying he's going to pay for the rehabilitation of this person. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, the guy's a monster. If rehabilitation worked, you remember that the prisons used to be called reformatories, that it would help change people instead of them being institutionalized in their criminal activity. Y'all sitting here thinking that Donald Trump is the biggest thing to worry about. What about we think about these idiots and these morons and these devils that decide that they want to start shooting and killing the angels in our community? Yes, the angels. The ones who decide that they were going to sit here and try and protect us and serve. Angels. Messengers of what? Peace? And you're turning around and we're celebrating these people who are mowing them down? You have monsters basically caught on TV going to the hospital where the doctors were ministering to these people, and they wanted to start a riot in front of the hospital. Then you have other people sitting there laughing about these men, but you don't see. If you saw any police officers, and it has been documented, any police officers who mocked a criminal, mocked someone, they were either losing their job or they were on unpaid leave because of their actions were just seen as immoral and inhuman. But hey, we can sit there, we can laugh about a police officer being shot, right? Yeah, we can do that, right? Huh? You think that God's happy with this? I want to go visit another one. You remember this? This is another danger to this country, an embarrassment to this country. I want to go back to something from a few weeks ago. Widespread vandalism and looting during Black Lives Matter protests will cost the insurance $2 billion after violence erupted in 140 cities in the wake of George Floyd's death. We're looking at $2 billion in claims of devastation, of destruction. You know that the numbers are higher than that. Some of the people are deciding that they don't even want to start all over again. They just want to leave. They want to take whatever respect that they have left and move on and basically say, you know what, I tried to give that community a chance, and this is what I got. I tried to give them an opportunity, and this is what I got. Y'all keep sitting here thinking that you're on this righteous direction, and it's filled with so much unrighteousness, it's filled with so much hatred. It's a disaster as I sit here talking. The Black lives don't matter. They don't. It's a lie. It's a farce. It's furthest from the truth. You remember this? Again, going back to about a week ago. Minneapolis City Council alarmed by the surge in crime months after voting to defund the police. They're trying to figure out where the police are. You kicked them out. You kicked them out. And what do you expect? And this is the thing about it that many of you don't seem to understand. At one point, God is going to remove his hand of protection over this nation, over your city, over your home, over your business, because of the fact that you want to embrace and you want to adopt the doctrines of devils. So God's like, okay, this is what you want. I'm going to give you what you want. You don't want my protection? I'll let you see your country without my protection. You don't want police protecting you? You don't want me protecting you through the men and women in blue? I'll let you see what your communities will look like when you do that. You don't want to preach my word? I will let your families, I will let your communities, I will let everything disintegrate if you decide to start taking away my word, the power of my word that has been transforming lives and transforming communities. If this is exactly the direction that you want to go, I am glad to entertain you. I'm glad to give you your heart's desire. Because that's why most of the other countries around the world that aren't as successful as our country have been crumbling, because they too have forsaken God. They too have kicked God out. They too have embraced the doctrines of devils and turned around and basically made the word of God null and void because of the fact that they don't want that level of accountability. They don't want that level of holiness. They don't want that level of true living in their lives. So you want a cesspool, you want to feed a cesspool mentality, guess what? You're going to see it. Now, mind you, understand the news is going to do everything that they can to turn around and talk about just the devastation and unemployment and the unfairness of blacks being treated in this country. It's just wrong. It's just not right. But they don't want to sit there and talk about the reality and ask the right questions as to why is it that bad. Another article that I talked about, I just need to revisit about this. Unemployment gap between black and white workers widens to nearly double as economic recovery lags for African Americans. Remember, you got to drop this information to make it seem like blacks don't have a chance to live and blacks don't have a chance to succeed. Now remember, as the president of the United States has done everything he can, bring record unemployment for blacks, record success and financial success for blacks, homes, you name it, everything that you can imagine before COVID-19. We had everything record for not just blacks, Hispanics, and so many different more. More women doing things in the workplace than you ever had in this economy that was not inherited from Barack Obama. Okay? It was not inherited from Barack Obama, but in your pride, you keep yelling that nonsense. And Barack Obama said there would be no way that things would get. Now, in his own words, he said it would never get as successful as it came to be. So it's not just my words. It's Barack Obama. Barack Obama said it would never get that far. Barack Obama said he would never become this successful. So on his words alone, you have nothing to stand on, because he said it would never get this good. So you can't claim something that you determined and you decreed would never be. You can't have it both ways. You can't say that the success would never come, that this magic wand would never work, and then turn around and start claiming credit when the magic wand starts working. The hypocrisy, the insanity. And this is the thing about it as we sit here watching this stuff. The reason why you're seeing the high levels of unemployment for the blacks is because of the fact that they're living in these major cities run by Democrats, by Democrat mayors and Democrat governors who decide that they want to shut the cities down and shut the businesses down where the black people work. The black people don't work out in farms. They don't work out in the rural areas. They work in the cities. And who's keeping the city shut down? Even here, the mayor of Indianapolis wants to push out the delay and the next level of people recovering. So Marion County, the city of Indianapolis, is held down right now from succeeding and doing anything else because of the fact that the Democrat mayor is basically saying we're going nowhere. And all the black people in every city, Chicago, LA, New York, Indianapolis, Memphis, Detroit, every last one of them is struggling. They're struggling not because of the President of the United States of America. They're struggling because of the fact that the mayors, the Democrat, if you want to know why blacks aren't succeeding, you look in the face and you start asking the Democrat leaders that have been over their cities long before COVID was making any things worse. Because things were worse for a lot of blacks in these cities long before COVID ever came on the scene. But every time we tell you that, and I've been saying it, I've been yelling it for a long time. Why is it that black people, why is it that these cities, Democrat states that are run, that where black people live in a majority, they are struggling to survive? It's because of the fact that, one, they've had leadership that set them up, and their level of success has been the level of mediocrity, if not less. So no wonder things aren't getting better, because of the fact that the people that you put all your hope and all your trust in never had a desire of seeing you go anywhere further without you being dependent upon them. And the very people that you are dependent on are basically wanting to keep the businesses shut down. So you can't be angry at the President of the United States of America. Be angry with the leadership in the state, because if he did come into the states and start telling them exactly what to do, you'd be yelling that he was a tyrant. Hypocrites. Hypocrites. It is a shame. It is a travesty that many of you think actually believe that thing between your ears actually works when you utter some of the most insane and ridiculous things that comes out of your mouth. And you're going to keep on in your pride doing all that. And at the end of the day, when you stand before God and and understand this, when Jesus returns, he ain't coming back to wonder if you know critical race theory. He's not going to want to know if you're sitting there holding on to social justice. He's going to want to know you had a responsibility, you had an opportunity to do something, and you chose to blame everybody else as to why your success would never come to pass. You chose to blame. You know, it doesn't matter what other people were doing. What responsibility did you have? What does it have to do with you, what's going on in your neighbor's house, when I've given you a responsibility, I've given you a blessing, I've given you so much, and you're still yelling that you don't have a chance to survive. You're still yelling that you don't have a chance. You've been given so much, you have so little to worry about, and you've been blessed upon being blessed upon being blessed, and you're still clamoring that you're a victim. Another thing I got that I'm going to be talking about soon is Uncle Tom. I've got the DVD. My wife and we were watching this, and I'm telling you, I want to watch in its full glory, and hopefully I can actually even get the creators of Uncle Tom, who I've been called on many occasions. Yes, the Bible says, let no unwholesome talk come from your mouth. But when y'all call me a sellout, you call me an Uncle Tom, you call me a traitor to my race, call me a coon, or you say coonery to other people who are asking critical questions, yeah, that hatred, that racism and all that stuff, God will deal with you on that. See, here's another thing that, everybody, again, because racism is the biggest trouble. Racism, Donald Trump, that's the biggest thing. Here is one that really got me, and this one, ooh, Lord Jesus, this one was, this was a very interesting one here. Here it is. This was announced last week, I believe. 35 missing Ohio children are recovered this month, with 20% rescued from human trafficking, as the search continues for 5 other endangered teens. The U.S. Marshals found 35 to 40 missing children during an Operation Safety Net. The Ohio children, ages 13 to 18, were found over the course of last month. The children were located throughout the state and as far away as Florida, and about 20% of those were found tied to a form of human trafficking, and the Marshals are still seeking help finding the 5 other missing children. This is not major news. This is not major news. Folks, I don't know if you heard what I just said. It's not major news. Our children have sat here, been victims in the foster care system, in the adoption agency systems, and so many, and not even just there, in the negligent systems, in communities, black and white, where people are more impressed with BET or Jerry Springer than taking care of their children. And you think God is happy with that? You sitting there and you spreading your legs for every move. You are making yourself let other men, multiple men, jump seed in you and have the nerve to even go to court on TV asking who's the father? You got to do paternity tests. When it results to the point, and again, I understand people have some difficult times that they go through, but where are the leaders in those communities that are going to help these girls to keep their legs closed and stay away from these bums that have no intention of doing what they need to provide for their families? That is, you want to talk about the destruction of the family. You remember how Black Lives Matter used to have on their website that they wanted to destroy the nuclear family, but they got rid of that because of the fact that they recognized that was actually showing something that, and here's the worst part about it. They took it down, and you still have a whole bunch of Christians who are black who are going to continue to follow the organization of Black Lives Matter, believing that the movement and the goal has been nothing but something good and pure, and we need to keep following it. And many of you already knew the truth that Margaret Sanger created Planned Parenthood for the purpose of getting rid of the black community and killing off black people, but you're still going to sit there and celebrate them, celebrate the Democrat Party, celebrate Margaret Sanger, because it's your free choice to murder the children in your womb. You hypocrites, Black Lives Matter. When we sit here and we look at in New York, 80% of the children in 2018 that were aborted, 80% of the children in New York who were aborted were black. Don't tell me it's the police who are hunting you down. It's the forceps that are hunting you down. It is Planned Parenthood that's hunting you down. They are killing more of you than you ever could imagine. And you guys sit here in this righteous indignation talking about the racism of Donald Trump trying to kill. We're an endangered species. You're an endangered species because you have no common sense. You lack the moral compass to sit here. I'm telling you, the truth could rape you and you still wouldn't utter the words truth. It's disgusting. It really is, and it really drives me up the wall. I'm telling you, when you see tomorrow, I'm unleashed. If you think I'm angry now, if you think I'm on fire now, baby, you tune in tomorrow morning, because it's going to be something. It's going to be something else, because we're going to put an end to the mockery. We're going to put an end to this mockery, and we're going to end it as fast as we possibly can. The fact that we have lost so many children in here, and then understand this too. God's going to get us on our hypocrisy. God's going to get us in our hypocrisy, because of the fact that even as we sit here and we talk about all lives matter and children in the womb's lives matter, I found this very interesting article, and you know that there is some level of truth to it, because of the fact that people keep thinking that they can hide from their sin, hide from their lies, and believe that this is not going to come out and basically affect them. Who was it? Here's abortion clinic worker reveals tons of pro-life women have terminations, but they do a neat mental trick to justify it. Then they tell her she's going to hell because of during the procedure. The Twitter user Annoyed Cicada detailed her own experiences in an unspecified abortion clinic. She said that tons of women who claimed to be anti-abortion would come in to end their own pregnancies. They were openly hostile, telling doctors they belong in jail or in hell as the procedures were being performed. One woman refused to wait in the same waiting room as other patients because she didn't think that she was irresponsible the way the others were. And she realized that a lot of pro-life people were willing to make exceptions for themselves or their loved ones. See, this is what's destroying this country. Yeah, be pro-life. Be pro-life, but you turn around and you sit there and you think that you can wear a mask, wear extra glasses, and that no one's going to figure out who you are? The level of hypocrisy, and this is the thing about it, because of the fact that a lot of the people who are pro-life, anti-abortion, people who turn around and they're pro-traditional marriage and anti-gay marriage, but you say nothing about adultery. You say nothing about fornication. You say nothing. And look at this. What was it? Jerry Falwell Jr. busted because of the pornography level latent activities that was going on in his own life. God's going to expose us. When I say Jesus, he is returning. He's the light in the darkness, and that light, remember, light exposes the things that are dark and just not right. And y'all keep thinking that Jesus is not going to show up, and you keep thinking that you're just going to get away with what you're doing and that God is not going to hold you accountable. It's a travesty. It's a shame that many of you feel so comfortable that you can continue to carry on with whatever way you want to and think that God is not going to hold you accountable. I think that's probably the biggest danger that many people will be facing in this country right now because of the fact that we keep thinking that God is not going to hold us accountable for our actions. It is very sad. Here were some of the different things that they said. Someone says, anyone who has ever worked in an abortion clinic knows that tons of women who claim to be anti-abortion get abortions. They do a neat mental trick. They said at a clinic where I used to work, she says they would put a pink sticky note on their charts to give a heads up to the back office staff. That way that they would be prepared for the hostility. And she basically said, I had a woman tell me I would burn in hell as I held her hand during the abortion. You keep thinking that this is not going to catch up with you. You keep thinking that God's not going to hold you accountable. Folks, he is returning, and he is returning for his people, and he's hoping that they're going to turn around and they're going to stop faking the funk. I don't know what to say about this in terms of what level of comfortability that we've grown ourselves to be in, where we think that God is not going to hold us accountable for this, but he is coming back. God is not dead. He is truly alive, and he is not messing around. This is one that really sickened me, and I want to briefly talk about this. This one really gets underneath my skin, and it's because of the fact that here is this Boston University professor who was urged to resign for calling Amy Coney Barrett a white colonizer who was using her two adopted children as props. Ibram Kendi, founder of and director of the Boston University Center for Anti-Racist Research, sparked outrage on social media on Saturday. He suggested whites adopt black kids to shield them from the charges of racism. Kendi was commenting on Judge Amy Coney Barrett's two Haitian children. His tweets about the Trump Supreme Court nominee prompt for his firing. Democrats were criticized for questioning the legitimacy of her adoptions. Barrett has 5 biological children and 2 adopted children from Haiti, and Republicans rushed to her defense. And here's the thing about it that just really disgusts me. This is what disgusts me: is you look at that hatred, you look at that face, and you see the hatred. There's so many of you who have you, and this is the crazy part about it, because when we sit here and we talk about, because many of you can't understand how is it that so many blacks could be so racist, or many whites don't even want to adopt the reality that blacks can be racist, because there's this ignorant teaching basically saying that only whites can be racist because they're in positions of power. Only in positions of power can you then be because you have to be above someone to be a racist. No. Racism is in everyone. Sin is in everyone except Christ. And that's the reason why it's that God is exposing you. When you guys keep thinking that there's no racism for blacks, there's no racism for blacks in this country, God continues to show it. When you say that there's no violence from blacks, God continues to show it. As you have tons of people getting killed, shot and killed on a weekly basis, on a weekend basis in Chicago, that the numbers are ridiculous. They keep climbing. And because God keeps saying, you keep saying that nonsense isn't happening. You keep saying that nonsense is not happening. Here's the other one, and this is one that I don't care if it covers my face. I have 2 minutes to do this. Yes, I'm going to try and pull this off. No, I'm going to do this. I'm going to wait on this one here because of the fact I want more time to process this information. Let me do one actually that I think is really powerful, and it's really good because of the fact that this is my attitude of gratitude, and it's for Melania Trump, where she basically said, that she believes that her husband was going to win. She believed that her husband was going to win, and here it is. Yep, she held on to that truth, knowing that he was going to win, and she believed that the moment he ran, he was going to be a winner. My attitude of gratitude is basically from Melania Trump, that you stand behind your man despite all the garbage and filth that he faces every time. She said the First Lady recalled how her husband announced on Larry King Live on 99 show that he was considering running for office. And she said she knew that if and when he ran, he would win. And I'm telling you that in the midst of this darkness, in the midst of the insanity, in the midst of everything that they're doing to try and paint this president unstable, I'm grateful for our first lady who has the strength to walk in the middle of all the visceral hatred, all the hatred of the people who sit there. This woman was not, she's not only a woman, she's an immigrant, and she has done everything to succeed and climb to the top. And a lot of you are sitting there, and you're sitting there, you want to slap her past in your face, but you don't want to talk about Kamala Harris's past. You don't want to talk about Kamala Harris sleeping her way up to the top, but praise God for Melania Trump, because I appreciate her honesty, I appreciate her transparency, and I appreciate everything that she tries to do. She stands by her man, and I'm telling you, women out there, you're married and your husbands needs you to lift them up. Lift them up, strengthen them, empower them as best as you possibly can, like my wife does, and I'm so appreciative of the way she does this. Listen, again, coming up now, within the next 4 or 5 minutes, you're going to have Patriotically Correct, a great new program that's on Mojo50 Radio. If you haven't been paying attention, you haven't been listening in, then you're not even trying hard enough. Go to mojo50.com, mojo50.com /schedule to listen to all the shows that we have. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom. I'm going to just clock out now because it's time to go. Thank you, everyone, for listening. God bless, and take care.